There it is. Well, that was easy. Okay.
Still says Mother's Day chat though.
Oh, it does?
Yeah.
Where?
Here.
Oh.
Live stream title.
Can I change it right now?
I don't know.
I'm going to do it anyway. Is there
All changes saved.
Okay, good. All right. Of course, I can't tell who's one watching. Who dat? Probably me. No, it's not on my phone or anything. So, hello from the Recycled Mom. Just getting started on this Sunday coffee chat. So welcome. If you're watching, please say something in the chat. Let me know who you are, where you're from. Would love to know who's tuning in to the chats. I haven't been on in a little while. We've had vacation with my family, and we've had dance recitals, art shows. What else we got going on? We're finishing up our American Heritage Girls program year, which I'm a troop leader for that. So we are finishing up our program year and trying to get all of the badges and all that stuff ordered. So been a little bit busy to try to video and edit and get things up there. So anyway, we are on live today. I hope y'all had a great Memorial Day weekend, and welcome June. Oh my word, can you believe it? We are 6 months into this new year, and before you know it, Christmas will be here. Oh my word, I can't believe how fast everything is going. Time just keeps going faster and faster. So today, I want to talk about, if you see the title, I want to talk about labels, how to live free from labels. And I'm not talking about labels like, how you label someone who might have a mental illness. It could be, or, like depression, or someone who has anxiety, an addict, Christian, Muslim, Republican, Democrat, conservative. Here's some other labels: wife, mom, dad, husband. What are some other ones? Even the words good, bad can be a label. Saying like, he's such a bad person, such a bad child. We use these things to describe people, yes. But how are we, when we use them to define ourselves, when someone says, hey, tell us a little bit about yourself, many of us go right to telling everything that we do or what we've done, what we've accomplished. We go right to the accomplishments. We go right to, I'm Darlene. I'm a wife, mother, homeschool, mother of 3. Or back in the day when I was working, I would tell, I work at, such and such a place. I'm a hotel conference manager. Or for the longest time when I was a wedding planner for 20 years. And I worked from home, but I'm a mother, I'm a wife, and I'm here at home, but I never mentioned those things. I mentioned other things that I did. I'm an American Heritage Girls troop leader, and I'm, and I run a wedding planning business, or I did Mary Kay for a while, so I'm a Mary Kay sales representative, or any of these things. It's by defining about what I do. I'm a college graduate. I graduated, da 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 da. That kind of thing. And we are defining ourselves by what we do instead of by who we are. Yes, I am a wife, and I am a mother, and a homeschool mom, and that kind of thing. Yes, and that's a very big part of me. But when it comes to Darlene, who I am, what I am, I can get lost if I only define myself as, I'm a wife and I'm a mother and I'm a Christian and I'm this and this. And with those things, I can need to be very careful about making those, by defining myself by those terms, by those labels, if you will, because with those things that I've mentioned come kind of an unwritten set of rules to live by. For example, I'll just, I'm going to throw out wife, for instance. So I'm going to say, yes, I'm a wife of, whatever. I'm married, I'm a wife. And in my mind, with that, I just slapped a label on myself. And what that is that I am subscribing to a certain set of unwritten rules that go along with being a wife, right? And that unwritten set of rules can come from how I view, my parents, how that's how you be a wife, or things that I have been taught, in church, or what I read from the Bible, or how I see other people, or just even society in general. I mean, a lot of people talk about, when you be a wife, they get this idea of they have to be June Cleaver, and be at home and have to have a house that's, clean, and you have to be perfectly dressed and coiffed and all these things. And when I subscribed to that set of rules in my head, no one said, okay, you became a wife, here's your list of rules to check off, okay? And there may have been some way back when, but for me, there came a set of rules, if you will, in my head that I needed to live by. This is what you do when you get married and become a wife. And when I wasn't living up to that set of rules in my mind, then that's where the struggle came in. I started defining my self-worth by how well I was living up to this wife label that I subscribed to. And my goal for, hey Marie, how you doing? I'm talking about labels today, and so what I was doing was subscribing to this label of wife, and the unwritten rules that went along in my head, the unwritten rules that I wrote for myself. And when I wasn't living up to them, then I didn't know what to do. I started placing my self-worth on how I measured up to that set of rules and that label. And it became, my life became very, cumbersome, and it became very heavy because I felt like I wasn't good enough. And so if I wasn't fulfilling this list of rules, then the self-worth I had for myself was zero, because I felt like I was always failing. Thank you. I'm trying to be summary because it's been raining nonstop where we are, and we have been, in the last couple of weeks, have just had flood warnings, and the rain and just soggy everything. And I'm just so tired. Is this what it's like living in Washington State, in Seattle? It's like, man, everything is so soggy, and I just cannot wait for a little bit of sun and a chance to dry out. So I'm trying to be summery and feeling beachy. So with that, labels. That was one. Wife, mother. Putting that label on me. That's a whole other set of rules that unwritten rules that I have. This is what it means to be a mom. This is what you do when you become a mom, right? And it's this unwritten set of rules that if I don't live up to, if I don't fulfill, this is what it means to be a wife and now a mom. So I got two labels, boom, boom, slap them right on me. And that, even when I wasn't living up to whatever that was in my mind, then my self-worth, which I had all wrapped up into wife and mother, my self-worth was very low. And so I was living very in a box. I was bound. I wasn't living freely. Yeah, we need to customize our own labels. Oh, I was just going to like that, but I realized I'm just not on Facebook anymore. We have to be careful with these labels. We can get into these other labels like, okay, I'll some other labels that we don't really think about. Okay, I'm going to say like Republican, Democrat, addict, what do I want to say? Alcoholic, and Christian, Muslim, those kinds of things. And labels go both ways. So like I could identify myself that way and say, I'm a recovering alcoholic. Okay. If I continue to say that about myself and I define myself that way, I am going to forever be in a box that I'm never going to get out of. Okay. And I'm just using this as an example. So maybe you have a label, or maybe that you see something. It is defining yourself in a box that you will never be able to get out of, and then you will believe that you will never be able to get out of that, even though you may not be drinking and you may be clean, right, for several years. But if you're always saying you're a recovering alcoholic, you are never getting out of that box and never fully living. And if I were to ask you, how would your life change today if you dropped that label? I'm a recovering alcoholic. And if you were to drop that label and not define yourself that way anymore, you are now free to live. You are free to thrive because you're not an alcoholic anymore. You're clean. Why slap that label on you still when you are clean and you're there and you're over here on recovery and you are free? You've been delivered. The Bible says that in Corinthians, Paul was talking to the Corinthian church, and he says, and such were some of you. If you have been delivered from that, don't keep putting yourself back in the jail. Don't keep slapping yourself on that with that label, because it's not going on anymore. You have been freed. You have the power to choose not to think of yourself that way. Yes, did it happen in your life? Absolutely. And do you need to be careful about not going into places that might be a temptation for you? Yes, but I'm here to say, and I'm here to challenge you, that if you have as far as recovering alcoholics go, but if you have any time on this side of clean and sobriety, okay, you don't have to view yourself that way anymore, because you are clean. You've been delivered. And when you drop that label, there is nothing that is holding you back. And I dare say that the temptation is not going to be strong anymore. Okay, I've been in recovery counseling for 10 years. I have the other way. I was a counselor and in a recovery group, and I went to biblical counseling seminars. So am I a licensed practitioner? No, but I am a faith-based counselor, and I dealt with people over the last 10 years. And I know that when you have been delivered from a life of addiction to anything, it could be food, could be, drugs or alcohol, pornography, sex, anything like that, it even could be just your thinking. And this is where I'm going. When you've been delivered from that, you are free to live a whole life. And that's how you define yourself. You are free from labels. Labels box us in. We get ourselves in trouble by doing that. We put these labels on ourselves, or we have them put on us by other people. So I need to be careful how I define myself. And if I say that I am this, I am, let me put it this way, like I am a Christian wife, homeschool mom, and I am, oh no, 6 in the Mix is live. I am going to be competing with somebody. But if I'm going to define myself that way, then I risk putting myself in a box for someone else. And although I shouldn't care what other people think, right? If I don't even define myself that way, then I'm not going to allow someone to put me in that box. That didn't sound right either. But it's not going to be, that person's not going to have their own label, their own set of rules and thinking when they hear, oh, that person is, a stay-at-home mom. Well, that person already has their own set of unwritten rules that they have in their mind with that label, and they're going to slap that on you because I just define myself as a stay-at-home mom, so they're going to slap that on me, right? Now, I am a stay-at-home mom. That's a fact. I accept it. But if my identity is wrapped up in that and I let other people come at me, and they say things and they're going to attack me, I'm going to take it personally, and I'm going to think that, they're attacking my identity and my self-worth. Well, I'm not wrapped up in being a stay-at-home mom. Yes, I am. That is what I do, but that is not Darlene Taylor. So you can go ahead and attack my, stay-at-home mom label or whatever, but you're not going to attack Darlene Taylor, because Darlene Taylor is strong and she's confident, she's smart, right? That's what I'm defining myself by. I am heaven-bound because I am saved. And I am free. I am whole. I choose to be happy and not negative. That's all I'm talking about here. So, anyway, that's my thoughts. If you guys have thoughts about labels, and you're watching this, on the replay, you're watching it live, give me your thoughts on what are some of the labels that you may have found that you define yourself by. I challenged everyone in our Recycled Mom private Facebook group today. I challenge them to grab a journal, or just an empty page. This is my journal that I write in a lot. And just grab an empty page, empty piece of paper or something where you can write down, I am ... and then write down how you define yourself. I am, and then just write down all these things. And then go back over your list and see if there are things that you are using to define yourself that are things that you do or things that you have done. So for instance, I had several people tell me I am a child of God. Okay, that is true. That's the truth about yourself. So I want you to take that further and say, because you are a child of God, you are, and then put those down. As a result of, So, I'm sorry, it's hot. It's hot under these. I got studio lights in here. It's hot. So yes, I am a child of God, or I something like that, or I am a Christian. Okay, well, if you're a Christian, because I am a Christian, I am forgiving, loving, encouraging. Those things. I am compassionate. And these are the words that I would love to see on your list. This is what I've started doing for myself. Living free from the label of mom and wife. And not that these are, okay, so not that these are bad labels. That's not what I'm getting at all. I'm just trying to get us to go a little bit deeper and challenge myself that if how am I defining myself? Am I focusing all on the things that I do, how much I know, how much I've accomplished? Or am I, what is, or who is Darlene on the deeper level? Oh, sorry, I did that with a microphone. Who is Darlene on, at the core? Because when everything else leaves, and if I were to lose my kids, or if I was to lose my husband, lose my job, or say lose my kids, and it doesn't, maybe that could just be like empty nester, like my kids are all gone from home now, I'm not homeschooling anymore, and those kinds of things, right? If I were to lose my if my parents, or my my mom or something, and all of a sudden I don't know who I am anymore, if my identity is wrapped up in this label, this title, I am a CEO, I am I'm a business owner, those kinds of things, on the things that I do, then who am I when those things are gone? If I am all wrapped up in that label, I'm going to be lost, and I'm not, and that's where I find a lot of women today, they have been wrapped up in everything else, because that's what we naturally do, but we're wrapped up in everything else, everybody else, and that becomes our identity. And when those things are gone, kids leave home, they get married, maybe someone is really wants to be, I'm just to say, I mean, they have a miscarriage, and this is such a big thing on their heart, and they and because their identity might be so much wrapped up into being a mom, right, that when the loss happens, or something changes, then we don't know who we are anymore, and we don't go on living. We walk around confused, we walk around just like walking zombies. And that's not thriving at life, that's not living life, because it's just not you. We are free. We have that freedom. Every one of us has the same freedom to choose, and we choose not to conform, and choose to be who you are. And that might be scary for some people, to just actually sit down and try to look inside themselves and see who they are, because they might, and if human beings naturally go to the negative a lot. So when you sit down and say, well, who am I? Well, yeah, well, I'm a horrible person because I I lie, or I'm not a very good mom, and this and that. And it's like, again, that's you living by that label. Drop that label. Okay, drop the pressure from that label. You are trying to live up to these unwritten rules that come along with that label. Drop it. Take a second and just consider what your life would be like when you don't have that label on you. That doesn't mean that you aren't a wife and aren't a mom or aren't a dad or aren't, a CEO of a company or a pastor or, whatever it is that you do, where that doesn't mean that you're not that. It's just that you are more than that. Okay, that is just something that you do. Who are you? And the only way you're going to find out is you take some time to be alone with yourself, dig down deep, and write these things out. Write out, I am ... and then just list these things. Do not subscribe to these set of rules that come along with the labels or what you think. It's what you think goes along with these labels or what society thinks comes along with these labels, because you are going to box yourself in and you are going to just be stagnant there. And I'm here to tell you that that cell door to that, that you just boxed yourself in a cell, that cell door is unlocked and you have the power to open it and walk out and live who you are. You have the power to live freely. You are free from this. You don't have to choose to live by a label, okay? Don't choose that. Choose to live who you are. Take full ownership of who you are spiritually. We are spiritual beings in a physical body. And that doesn't have anything to do with religion. It's just, body, soul, spirit. There's a spirit in each one of us. You are a spiritual being in a physical body. The power is yours, okay? The choice is yours. Stop going to other people to tell you who you are. Stop going to other people to fill in the blanks that you don't have filled out. Everybody's got these blanks. Stop going to other people to fill in the blanks. You fill in your own blanks. Okay? So my question is to you, will you drop the labels and choose to own up to who you are in your spirit and live by that? That is a completely different way of living. And the whole basis behind the Recycled Mom is to be, revived to thrive. I want you to thrive at life, not just survive it, not just survive living by this label and trying to get by, living by this set of rules that seem to come with these labels. We don't need to be doing that. We do not need to be living a limited life. Start embracing the truth about yourself, the truth of who you really are, what you like. Okay, I am, right? I'm a lover of nature. I am, or I love being outdoors, that kind of thing. And start living who you are. Because it's so freeing. And I want everyone to thrive. And you can do that while you are a wife and a mom and a teacher and a dad and a husband and a CEO and a business owner and a blogger and, a YouTube mom, dad, family. You can live an abundant life and thrive at life while you do all of these other things. And I want you to choose that for you today. Okay? That is my challenge, and my message to you. I want you to realize that the truth does set you free. Drop the label today. Okay? If there's anything that I can do for you, please contact me by email, which is therecycledmom@gmail.com. But you can also connect with me on Instagram and Facebook. And of course, I'm here on YouTube. You can always message me, though. Send me an email. Ask me some questions. I'd love to set up a time to talk to you if there's anything I can do for you. But I wish for you is that you would discover the truth about yourself, discover who you are, and live out that truth, because the truth really does set you free. Okay? So everyone have a great week. Until next time, I'll see you next Sunday. Bye.